Alice Madness Returns actually picks up where the original Alice game that we released 10 years ago left off. It's going to come out for PS3, 360, and PC, where the first game was only a PC game, but really, really successful on the PC. In the first game, Alice's family died in a fire, which resulted in her going mad and then being institutionalized. And so in that game, she used Wonderland as a tool, basically, to fight with her mental demons, go and deal with all these unresolved emotions that she hadn't dealt with as a result of that event. The second game picks up after she's been released from the asylum and is now living in London, but still dealing with the repercussions of that event. And this game is really, in a lot of ways, like a murder mystery. She's going around London, interacting with characters from her past, and trying to piece together this mystery of like what really happened the night that her family died. And again, she's using Wonderland as the tool where she's going into her own psyche and sort of exploring these things, these memories that have been lost, and trying to piece things back together again.
Alice, tell me of your Wonderland.
Here at TGS, we're showing the game for the first time. It's a hands-off demo. We're pre-alpha, but still able to show people combat, art style, story, collection mechanisms, things like that. So people are getting a pretty good sense of the general tone and style of the game. Again, it's sort of harkening back to what made the first game so great, the narrative aspects of it, the exploration, platforming, the combat, and puzzles. This is like 10 years later, we've been able to listen to everybody's comments on what they liked or disliked about the first game, and then basically distill all that down into the product you're seeing today.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, in the time since the first game, the gaming climate has changed a lot. And obviously, the consoles have upgraded, twice now since we put that out, or once now since we put that out. So I mean, we've been taking a lot of cues in terms of what we're doing with the design, not only from where gaming has gone on the consoles in that time, but also looking back at some more like old school gaming styles. So that there's a lot of variety in the game, not just in the art style and the characters that you're going to meet, but also from domain to domain, some very interesting mechanics and a lot of mechanics that are borrowed from the old school gaming style. So what we think we're doing here is putting together something that's going to appeal to a really broad audience, which is really what's at core for the Alice franchise. It's something that young, old, male, female, everybody really likes, and we're trying to get that same sense into what the core gaming experience is about. So I think one of the more interesting aspects of this game that we didn't have in the first is the fact that Alice is traveling around inside of London. So we're getting to see real-world Alice as she's trying to deal with her real-world problems and bouncing back and forth between London and Wonderland. I think one of the cooler aspects of the game is that as the game is progressing, you're going to start to see Alice's psychological profile sort of unraveling. You start to question who she is, what she's on about. Just at the same time that she's also trying to figure out if she's still mad, are you still in the asylum, where are you exactly? So I mean, there's a really interesting series of twists throughout the game that start to question not only what she's about and what her sort of quest is about, but what the game is about in general. So I think in that sense, it's going to be very, very interesting for people who played the first game or they played the second game. They're going to see some really unique stuff in there. And I think people are really going to have a great time in there, like with the first, because of the variety. And this is a game that, as you move through it, you never get bored. You never see the same thing twice. Alice Madness Returns is going to come out in 2011. It's going to be on PC, PS3, and 360. I think it's going to pull people in and it's going to keep them in there for the entire experience.